everyone, it's Desiree, and we are going to work with our peg stamps again today. We are going to start off by creating our own background paper. The main thing that I love about peg stamps is the versatility of them. You can create your own background, you can create your own focal points, your borders, your frames, anything that you're looking to create. No, they are not a stamped image, but they are an image that you can stamp and then color. I showed that in our previous video that I recently launched towards the middle of the month. So extremely versatile. Using bright colors, I'm actually using my Concord and Ninth inks and using a poppy, a yellow, a bright aqua, and some greens to fill in this background. I like to use, it's very handy to have a wet wipe or a baby wipe next to you to clean your peg stamps. And one of the things that I do also love about these is they help you. You guys have heard me say before, let it go. Nothing has to be perfect. Creating is not perfect. There's all kinds of ways when we create, and those little imperfections, I call them happy accidents. Maybe you don't have a perfect way that you stamp that image. They add to the creation and allows it to be even more unique, and it's handmade. And again, we use our hands to do this. I'm adding a little bit of gray into this background as well to let those colors still be bright, but also to accent the sentiment that I'm going to put directly onto this panel. Once that's done, we're going to trim that down just a little bit so that it will measure 4 by 5 1/4, and my mat for the back, which will measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, will be gray. I'm actually using the Concord and Ninth gray cardstock as well, and what's great is when they came out with their inks, they came out with the matching cardstocks as well. So it's even going to help that sentiment to pop off as well. I wanted to keep the die cutting in, so I do apologize that the camera does shake. That's why I usually don't show that. And you can see my bottom plate is very well loved. Absolutely, yes. And I'm using a rectangle die. It's from the Spellbinders layering sets. And I'm cutting sections out, making sure that I know where they go once I'm done, so that we're going to pop these up off of our platform, off of our image. Now, I also cut a white piece of cardstock because I thought I was going to put that behind the sentiment. You'll see I change my mind, like I always do. I always change my mind. I'm going to use my ATG gun to get this panel up onto my mat. And you'll see that that gray will come through. And then I'm going to get this onto my standard A2 size card base. And it will be a top folding card base. And it'll cover the entire front. I do like to use just white card bases. White or maybe ivory. I'm not really one for a color card base, because then I don't have to worry about the inside. I don't have to add any white cardstock. I'm cutting some rectangles, gray rectangles, just a little bit larger than our panels that we've just die cut out. Now, I thought they were too large. I don't want that big of a border, so I'm going to come in with my long shears and just trim around the edge of it. What's great with long shears is you can get one cut and 9.9999999. It's going to be straight when you cut that. And again, I'm still looking at that to say, can I do that? And it was just going to take away from it. This thank you die is by Poppy Stamps, and it is called a playful thank you. And I just think it's great. I love the different size, the upper and the lower case, and the wonkiness of it. Once I have my mats on the pieces that we cut out, I'm going to prop them back into those sections. So you can see the pattern continues up, but it helps it to stand out when I put those small frames around it. I'm going to use my liquid adhesive as well to get my sentiment on. And by having those frames and just stamping that little bit of gray in the background as well, it's going to help this sentiment stand off this card also. So you don't need to have a background for it, and you don't need to cover up all that beautiful stamping that we did. So here's our card. You can see the dimension that those panels have and the dimension that we have in our sentiment, because I die cut that 3 times. So I hope you have found today's project with a few tips and tricks for you. For maybe stuff that you have in your stash. But as always, the products that I use will be listed down below in the video description. And if you have a question, make sure you leave those down below as well. We are getting closer to spring, and that is wonderful. Kind of limits our time in creating because we want to be outside, but I do hope you get in there to enjoy that time so that you can create your art. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Be part of my group here, and make sure you hit that thumbs up so that others can see this video too. Have fun, but always remember what's most important, and try to do it just a little bit each day. Always be creative, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care, guys.